Some businesses believe that if they don't receive many complaints, their customers must be satisfied. Wrong. Only a few customers will complain to you. The majority will not return to your business and will tell others of their bad experience. The simple fact is that you may be pushing your customers and your profits out of the door if you don't have an effective complaints policy. Now, these figures come directly from statistics that have been researched. 73% of the people will tell you that they are dissatisfied. 48% of the most serious problems are sales and delivery related. 52% of those who don't complain believe it wouldn't help to contact the retailer anyway. But it doesn't stop there. The most disturbing facts are that 66% of those who complained were not satisfied with the way that the complaint was handled. 90% of those who are dissatisfied will not return to your business again. Each dissatisfied customer is likely to tell 5 others of their bad experience. So, how do you handle your complaints? Do you have a specific complaints department, or is there a particular person that handles complaints? Or is it the responsibility of each team member to handle complaints? How effective is your complaints handling system? Get into 2 groups and have a discussion on how you can improve your complaints handling. The important thing to remember is to welcome complaints. The typical customer who never tells you that they are dissatisfied with the service will also never come back. A typical dissatisfied customer tells more than 8 people about his or her bad customer service problem. 7 out of 10 complaining customers, which is 70%, will do business with you again if you resolve the problem in their favour. And if it is resolved on the spot, 95% will do business with you again. So through resolving a complaint efficiently and fairly, you can retain the customer's loyalty and potentially gain new customers through good feedback. So make sure that you get this right and find an effective method of resolving complaints. Firstly, welcome complaints and think of the benefits that an efficient complaints handling system can bring. Decide on how you should handle complaints and who should be in charge of this. Anticipate potential problems and mistakes that could occur. Make it easier for your customers to complain by being approachable and understanding. Put a system into place and monitor it. Be calm and sympathetic when you receive a complaint. The first step is to acknowledge that there is a problem and that it may be annoying, inconvenient, or unfortunate. Even though you may not believe the customer's complaint is justified, they are complaining because they're unhappy. If you deal with their complaint effectively, you have an opportunity to retain them as a customer. Stay calm. This is difficult for a lot of sales staff, particularly if the customer is angry or irritating, or if their complaint seems trivial. But getting angry yourself will only make it worse. Identify the problem, find out exactly what's bothering them, and listen carefully to what the customer is saying. Empathise with them and make sure you understand by paraphrasing. Ask what they want you to do for them, and don't assume. Resolve the problem effectively and efficiently as possible. Even in situations where the complaint may be unjustified, you still need to make the customer happy to keep them as a customer and get their business. Sometimes only a simple explanation or an apology will do, and at other times you may need to do more. Even if you are not legally required to do anything about the complaint, it may be worth doing something just to keep them as a customer. For example, if a customer is entitled to only a repair or a replacement, you may be willing to offer a refund if that is what they really want, even if it is not your policy. But before you do so, check with the management first, so that you don't get yourself into trouble over it. Consider how important these problems are to customers. Try putting yourself in their shoes and imagine how you would feel if you were in their situation. Keep a record. It's important that you keep a written record of the complaint and what you have agreed to. Record everything there is to know about the complaint, including whether it was face-to-face, by telephone, or in writing. Remember that simply filling out a complaint record form does not solve the problem. You have to act on it. Fix the problem. Once you have decided on the complaint policy, you will be able to resolve most complaints quickly and efficiently. Tell customers what solution you can offer and make sure that they understand. If customers accept your proposed solution, act straight away, if possible. For example, repair, replace, or refund the goods as soon as possible. Make sure there is always someone available to speak to customers about their complaints. If a customer is promised a return phone call, make sure it happens. If it is not possible to do anything immediately, tell the customer when it will happen and keep a record of your commitment. If you're faced with customers who want more than what they're legally entitled to, or if they want to take things further and your policy is clearly written and stated, and you feel that they are making an unrealistic demand, try to explain their legal rights to them and refer them to a legal advisor. You can check your rights and obligations with them as well and ask for an independent third opinion. Always do what was agreed and finalise the matter with the customer. And finally, never make promises that you won't be able to keep. Decide how you should handle complaints and put a system into place. Some suggestions are: 1. Obtaining a copy of a complaints and handling standards. It provides an excellent guide for developing an efficient policy. 2. Involving everyone in developing the policy. 3. Deciding on who will handle complaints. But remember that handling complaints is ultimately everyone's job. 4. Anticipating potential problems or mistakes before they happen and having a solution in place. For example, what do we do if we're short-staffed and it's a very busy day or a weekend? Do you have a system in place where you can serve each customer efficiently and quickly? What if the customer is still angry even after we've apologised? 6. What if we don't deliver on time? How do we make up for this? For some customers, it can be enough just to give them a free delivery. And for others, you may need to have a backup plan, especially if they're counting on that delivery for a very special occasion. For example, if a customer is waiting on a delivery of some dining chairs that they've ordered and they're relying on you to deliver when you've promised because they are having a big function or dinner party, and all of a sudden you call and tell them that the shipment is running late or delayed and the chairs won't be there. What do you do to make up for the inconvenience you have just created and the stress that you have caused the customer? In this sort of case, a free delivery may not cut it. I used to work in a showroom where we had a storeroom of slightly damaged stock and seconds that we could deliver to customers in these sorts of situations. And if you can provide a solution like that, even though the customer may not have the right chairs, at least they have some chairs rather than finding themselves without. So instead of telling their friends that you promised but could not deliver, they will be telling their friends that you have gone out of your way to solve a problem that you had no control over. You always need to have a backup plan. 7, what happens if the computer goes down? Do you have a manual system that you can understand and that everyone is aware of and understands? 8, how do we deal with the order that went missing or that was wrong? It's always a good idea to have systems in place that everyone understands and have things in writing, and that way you are not caught off guard. 9, make it easy for your customers to complain. Publicise your complaints systems. Let your customers know that your business welcomes complaints. Invite your customers to let you know if they were satisfied with the way that their complaint was handled. In this exercise, I want you to get into 2 groups and write down what systems you currently have in place to handle complaints. Are they efficient, and how could they be made better? What systems would you like to see put into place and implemented? What are some of the benefits of efficient complaints handling? Some of the benefits are fewer mistakes and less time spent fixing them. Improved product and service quality. Better understanding of customers' needs. Happier customers. Greater customer loyalty. More customers through word of mouth. Less time spent on attracting new customers. Improving business reputation. A healthier bottom line. Most complaints fall into 4 groups. The first is value for money. A customer's perception of value is very important. Your store presentation and excellent customer service reinforces that the customer is getting good value for their money, as it is all about their perception of you and your products and services and presentation. The second is pricing overcharge. Sometimes pricing mistakes happen, but the way you deal with mistakes and the way you deal with correcting them will determine your customer's satisfaction. Good customer service is essential. The third is the product. Sometimes complaints are not necessarily the fault of the retailer, but can also be due to the quality of the product. However, the way the complaint is handled determines the customer's perception of the business. And the fourth is simply bad customer service. Good customer service is the essence of good retailing, especially in this day and age. Rudeness and poor service discourage customers from returning. Now, let's move on to planning. Make sure you know how to plan and have procedures in place because unexpected things do happen. Plan at what time you need to come in and to prepare for the day before you open and how long it might take you to finalise everything once you have closed. Plan to have extra staff for extra busy times. Plan roster days off and holidays in advance. Observe and report customer needs and requests. For example, if there is a huge demand on scented candles, make an extra order before you run out. If you are expecting delays, call customers well in advance to advise them and prepare them. If you can't deliver a product or a service as promised, have an alternative plan. And finally, have processes and procedures in dealing with difficult situations or customers before they occur.